Hey gang, it's Miss Boyle. I have been feeling really badly about missing school, and I hope that you're all doing really well and staying healthy and getting everything done. I've been proud of the work you have been getting done and pretty independently, and I wanted to just take a few moments to go over some key points that I certainly would be addressing if I were able to be with you in class on Acts 3 and 4 of Othello before you launch into any further work on the play, and also thinking about the paper that you're going to be writing on one of the characters that you'll choose on this play. And so remember, I had mentioned to you that the play is sort of constructed with these 5 acts, and acts 1 and 2 kind of came to a point in act 3, a turning point for Othello and for several of the other characters as well. And so I wanted to just bring out some of those changes that we see in our hero and make sure that you're thinking of them clearly as you head into reading the final act of the play in Act 5. So let's just talk about that a little bit, and then we'll come back to the idea of the paper. Okay? All right. So Iago gives a very, very, very ironic warning to Othello. And this is Iago's MO. Remember, Iago is a master manipulator. I love this image here that's on the screen because he is the puppeteer. He is the marionette, manipulator. And he is sort of having fun. Have you asked yourselves, why hasn't he stopped? He's been made lieutenant. Cassio has been demoted. If the real reason for him doing this, everything he's been doing, was revenge or to get, his position, he's got it. But he's not stopping. He's continuing to go and go and go. And I would tell you, I think he seems to be really having fun. He seems to be enjoying himself and seeing how stupid everyone else is or how gullible people can be. How easily he's able to use words and shift into different positions like a chameleon to get people to react a certain way. Look at the way he plays the dupe Roderigo over and over and over again. Look at the way he can even manipulate the very smart Othello, the very smart Cassio. Like, he's able to get all of these people to do things that they otherwise would not normally do. He tells Othello, "Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster with which doth mock the meat it feeds on." And he's starting to plant the seed of jealousy by saying, look out for jealousy. And so it is terribly, terribly ironic. And of course, Othello is going to fall right into that trap of jealousy. On this slide here, it's page 65 in your book. I've got the side-by-side translation of a very important scene in which Othello opens the door to doubt. You can actually hear it creaking if you listen hard enough. This sort of like, because Iago is working Othello. He's trying to get Othello to doubt Desdemona's honesty. And in Act 3, Scene 3, Othello, even though he's starting to react a little to Iago, is steadfast. No, my love did not cheat on me. I do not think but Desdemona's honest. And Iago says very sarcastically, long live she so, and long live you to think so. And look at the translation to the right. I hope she never does, and I hope you keep on thinking she wouldn't. And so again, Iago planting those schemes, using those schemes to plant those doubts in Othello's head. And here's the door opening. Othello says, and yet how nature erring from itself. And the translation here says, but still it's true that good things can go bad away from their true natures. What he's really saying is, actually, she did go against nature when she married me. She's a white woman of power and culture, or position, I should say. I am a black general. This goes against nature. Othello is adopting the narrative of the culture around him, right? It is wrong for a white woman and a black man to be in love, to be married. And so he says nature, and yet nature erring from itself, maybe. And then Iago harps on it. Aye, there's the point, as to be bold with you, not to affect many proposed matches of her own clime, complexion, and degree. Look what he says there. She went against not only nature, but she went against her clime, her region. She didn't marry an Italian. Her complexion, that one's obvious. And degree, that's not her education. That means her class. When she married you, Othello, she did go against the people of her own people, her own race, and her own class to marry you. And wow, boom, Iago hits him with that. And there the door to doubt opens on page 65. The rational Othello is still there. I don't want you to think that this change happens overnight. But he says, okay, all right, if you think she's adulterous, I need ocular proof. Ocular, with my eyes. Ojos in Espanol. Ojos, ocular, okay? Binocular, looking through to see your sporting events, right? Ocular proof. The evidence that will visually verify with beyond a reasonable doubt that Desdemona is indeed having an affair with Cassio. He says, you must prove my love to be a whore. And Iago's like, no problem. The dream I overheard. And then, I think actually, don't you have like some kind of hanky, handkerchief? I thought I saw Cassio with that. So Iago's really stacking the deck for the very rational, or at least the rational man we met in Act 1, to try to suggest that there's an affair that isn't there. Othello's angst further surfaces where he is saying he's on the rack. And you're going to see the film version. This scene is done really well, where Othello is mad at Iago. How could you do this to me? I didn't know anything. Innocence, ignorance was bliss. I slept the night well. I fed well. I was free and merry. I didn't think about Cassio's kisses on her lips. But now that's all I can think about. Right? And Othello is stuck. And this makes him violent. And we know that Iago is going to play on this. He basically says, see, you're mad at me, but I didn't do anything. I just told you what you needed to hear, and now you're blaming me. And he really manipulates the whole situation again. And Othello falls further into the trap. He falls further into the trap. I want you to see in Act 4, go back and look at it before you take any quiz on Act 4. Othello starts to become vulgar. He talks like Iago now. He uses words like whore and damn, and he becomes less articulate. This was the guy who could use language to get out of a scrape when everyone, including Brabantio, wanted his head on a platter, right? Whoa, let's keep calm here. Now he, damn her, lewd minx, the handkerchief. He can't express himself. He becomes vulgar. He becomes unable to use words eloquently. He starts to become a little bit unhinged. He becomes violent. We see him slap Desdemona in front of a shocked group of witnesses, including her family from Venice, right? Lodovico is like, is this the same guy we all met? You can't even understand it. And Othello then further becomes physically weak, right? When he sees Bianca take that handkerchief and he starts to think, oh my God, this is really true. He falls into an epileptic seizure, which, remember, think about the time period in the Renaissance. They would know much less about this. And epilepsy and any kind of seizures like this would be seen sometimes as associated with the devil, or, the explanation for them was not fully known. And so by giving Othello this epileptic fit. It shows the level of his stress, obviously, but it also shows that he's becoming not only morally and spiritually weak, but also physically weak as Iago continues to assault him with all of these lies and all of this scheme. In a tragedy such as this, we always talk about the tragic hero, Othello, and what is his tragic flaw. And I would assert to you that on page 65, when he opened that door to insecurity and doubt and jealousy, that is where things turned for him. Okay. His tragic flaw is definitely, jealousy. That's always born from insecurity. If you believe 100% that you're lovable and that there's no reason for anyone to cheat on you, doesn't mean they won't necessarily do that, but the insecurity, it comes with the jealousy, right? Changes in Desdemona, too. As Othello becomes more violent, as he becomes more vulgar, she becomes more obedient and servile. Where's the independent, strong Desdemona that left her father to be with him? Instead, she does everything he says. When he hits her, she's shocked, but she takes it. I mean, I know the time period, like she has very few options, but she's changing. She's becoming more of the expectation for women in the time period. Meanwhile, Amelia, Iago's wife, seems to be transferring some of her allegiance from Iago to Desdemona. Now, she doesn't know. Remember, Amelia doesn't know he's done what he's done with the handkerchief. She knows she took it for him, and she did lie to Desdemona, say she didn't know where it was. But she does not realize the extent to which her husband is responsible for all of the problems in Desdemona's and Othello's marriage. And so she starts to become defensive when Othello goes to her and says, "Hey, did you ever see anything shady between my wife and Cassio?" She's absolutely 100% in Desdemona's corner because, of course, there was nothing to see. "No, my lord." And he ultimately will discount her as like on the books, being paid by Desdemona or whatever. Women stick together. And he doesn't listen to what she actually says. But she is becoming more and more vocal and more strong in response to her defense of her friend, right? So what? So we follow all of this. We understand what is happening. But I challenge you now and in the coming days as you finish reading this play to think, so what? So what? What does Shakespeare want me to do here with this? So what is Shakespeare up to? So what is he saying? Because in your paper, if you have just a what, like Othello is, originally brave, but becomes more violent and becomes manipulated or whatever, that's a what. I want to know, so what? So what is Shakespeare doing? What is he saying about women? What is he saying about race? What is he saying about evil or jealousy? Remember, jealousy was the spider that bit Iago to launch all of these problems. What is he saying about the bigger picture of life? I'm really going to push you to think about so what. Right? So if you write a character analysis, it's not just this character is this, this, and this. That's a 10th grade character analysis. I'm looking for a college level character analysis. This character is this, this, and this. And through her change over the course of the play, Shakespeare suggests, boom, give me a statement to finish that thought. We're going to be doing a lot of work with that paper. We're going to be looking at different thesis statements, sample papers, all of that. But for now, your work, and I am so sorry I can't be with you, but for now, your work is to make sure the movie in your mind is clearly starting to play in that direction. What is he really up to? These characters are changing. They are not very static. They're not the same as they were in Act 1. With the possible exception of Iago, although I might argue he's becoming more paranoid, more violent, more manipulative over time, but he's pretty much kind of still on that same arc of where he started out, whereas we had a very noble and honorable Othello who was strong and powerful, and we see him coming apart at the seams. We had an independent woman in Desdemona, and we see her conforming to societal expectations for women. So what? Is Shakespeare a sexist? Is Shakespeare as racist as everyone else in his society? What is going on here? That's what I want you to think about. Okay? So what? I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to think it through. I know that those brains of yours are activating in all sorts of directions, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with. You really can't do it, though, until we finish the play. So I hope that this little overview, little pep talk here has helped you. I'm going to ask you to take the quiz on Act 4, and I'm going to see if we can't launch into Act 5 and get things done before we look at more of the film and really confirm your understanding. Okay? Sound good? Thank you.